Hey everyone, and welcome to another Deck Tech for Opus 14, and this time we are exploring Keep Your Eyes on the Sky and grab your buccaneers, me hearties, because we're doing Sky Pirates. Which is funny because the Sky Pirates actually don't talk like that in any sense whatsoever, nor the actual pirates. But, you know, we have this awesome Von card. I actually was lucky enough to pull the full art foil. Beautiful, beautiful card. And pretty neat. I definitely kind of underestimated this a bit when I saw it, and I do still think it kind of lacks like great targets to make just a full Sky Pirate deck, but nonetheless. So here we go, and I'm going to put this out up front. This is a casual, for fun Sky Pirates deck. It is meant to go all in on the Sky Pirates theme, so if that's something you're interested in, I hope you enjoy this. There is a really great list out there by Hancox. I will link it in the description below. So if you want a more competitive list, and that one really leans more into like Leviathan and Bismarck, you know, we got the new primals, and that is a much more competitive list. It's got Stern Leonis in it. This one is way more just for fun. You just want to have casual time, you know, playing Sky Pirates and the 12 characters. So if that's what you're here for, this is for you. So when Von enters the field, you'll get to choose a Sky Pirate of cost 2 or less from your deck and play it onto the field, and then it'll activate all the backups you control. And then anytime a Sky Pirate is chosen, you get to activate 2 backups. So a lot of fun tricks we can do with that. So what targets do we have for Von? First, we've got 3 copies of Elza. When she enters, as long as there's another Sky Pirate forward, you'll get to draw a card. Really nice, good on EX burst. If there's not a backup you want to search for, she's your target. In this deck, there's only 1 Sky Pirate backup, and that's Tomage, so she's usually a good one to search for. Philo, 1,000 power and haste if you control another Sky Pirate forward. You know, really nice surprise blocker. Kites is really potent in this deck. So normally Kites is just a cheap body that you can sacrifice Kites at any time to bump a Sky Pirate by 3,000, which is really nice. However, when Von enters the field, you can pay 2 wind to play Kites from the break zone onto the field. And you can stack that with Von's trigger so that way, like let's say you play Von however you want, and then Von's trigger will go off where he's going to activate all the backups. You can stack that so that you get your backups first, and then you have backups to pay for the Kites trigger, which is really nice. So you can basically always get them for free. And 2 copies of Tomage. He is our only Sky Pirate backup. If you wanted to be super duper consistent, you can play all 3, but since Von can fetch him out, I've just found I don't really need 3 copies. 2 has always been plenty of it, but you do definitely want to get him out. He's your only Sky Pirate backup, so he's going to contribute to things that care about the number of Sky Pirates, which is our Legend Fran here from Opus 10. Unfortunately, this card was just kind of poorly designed. I got a proxy there for the back one, especially compared to Rain, which came out in the same set. So Fran will get 1,000 power for every other Sky Pirate you control, and then that includes the backups, and then when she attacks, she'll deal 1,000 damage for the same number. So basically, whatever her power is getting boosted by, she's going to nuke something when she attacks for that same amount of damage. It's not great, and unless you can get the entire board out, it honestly is probably going to have trouble removing something, but it could allow your opponent to kind of have weird trades. But regardless, and once you get Balthier out, she can't be chosen by summons or abilities, and it's kind of nice to just have a big beater. Again, in the competitive version, they actually use the backup Fran as another search target for Von, but in this casual fun version, I find that this Fran, she gets the shine of it here. So, what would our favorite bunny girl be without the leading man and Balthier? This card got a lot better this set with the printing of this Von. Very similar, so when he enters the field, he's going to put a Sky Pirate of 2 or less onto the field, but he pulls it from the break zone. And then the most interesting thing, you can dull 2 active Job Sky Pirates, and then you choose a Sky Pirate. Until the end of the turn, it gets 2,000 power and haste. So the amount of ways you can mess with combat math because of this card is very interesting. So for example, let's say they're swinging in an 8K and you've got Von. You can dull Kites and Tomage to buff Von by 2K, and then on top of that, sacrifice the Kites to do another 3,000. So you just get so many little versions of power bumps. And again, you can dull your whole board if you have to. Makes this deck really good against lightning, because anytime they try to target your actives, you just, alright, we'll respond by dulling that, which is really nice. And then, yeah, just it creates so many lines of being able to mess with combat math, which is really enjoyable. One copy of Raz. This card really did not age well. You know, at the time, an unrestricted bounce on entry was actually pretty good. It's unrestricted in the sense that it doesn't matter how big or what the cost of the opposing for it is, he just needs to know Sky Pirate. But nowadays, we've gotten stuff that can do that a little more freely. But nonetheless, it can still be a really nice way to just clear out a blocker, a little surprise action. And again, he's another Sky Pirate. So again, it's nice to have a Raz. You can play it immediately, bounce something, and then dull him for Balthier's effect if you need to. 2 copies of Rickon. So at the beginning of your attack phases, all your Sky Pirate forwards other than Rickon will gain 2,000 power. Can be pretty relevant, at least in the Sky Pirate play I have seen. Sometimes they can get kind of stalled with the boards, because if you notice, a lot of these bodies are pretty small. The Kites, the Elza, the Philo, none of those are very big. Yeah, the Fran will get big, and the Von, and you've got the tricks, but without those, you're still just naturally don't have a ton of power, so having Rickon put Philo up to 8k by herself without any other of the tricks is really nice. Finally, staying with the 12 theme, 1 copy of our Ash from Opus 10. Just a great water legend. It will refund you CP in the fact that, you know, she can activate a backup. Good against the ice decks because you can activate any forwards. Can help you scry through your deck if you have dead cards with the discard and draw. And then being able to shut off an opposing forward's abilities, really nice. Great against like an opposing Ursula or Sophie or anything that has a present effect that you just want to get rid of. And she's a 12 character, so she fits with our backup no-no. So in this no-no, anytime a 12 character forward enters your field, you get a backup back, which is really nice. All of these are 12 forwards. They're all going to get you a backup back, and you can stack that with Von's trigger. So again, let's say you're playing Von off of 5 backups. You know, you can dull 4, put the Von in, have one of the wind ones reactivate, so then you pay 2 to put the Kites in, and then the Von trigger goes off and it reactivates all of them. So just a lot of fun little tricks you can do. It also means you can do things like Tomage's effect multiple times. You can use that again with Tomage with Balthier's effect. Very versatile, very creative. And finally, the end of our Sky Pirate 12 package. 2 copies of this Pinello. She searches for a card named Von. Von adds it to your hand. There is a Pinello that is a 4 cost that will search out a Sky Pirate, and then she has an action ability that lets her tap and I believe buff one by 1,000. That one's okay. I preferred this one because it's 1 cheaper and it's an EX burst, and really Von is the main target you want. So I've really found this one to be useful in practice. So yeah, there you go. Here's kind of your fun, casual Sky Pirates build. We're going to supplement this with a few things, of course. Dip our toe into some competitive cards. 3 copies of Sarah. One of the best backups you can open turn 1. It'll let you search out either one of these 2 copies of Althea, which is just arguably the best win backup in the entire game. Really bonkers card. Or you can get 1 copy of this Azana, which again, with the way Von works, in that not only off his entry effect, if you get all your 5 backups back, you can use Fiona to then search out any character you want. Because anytime a Sky Pirate is chosen while Von is on the field, you will also get backups back. It's not unreasonable to, even if you've tapped out a bunch of backups, to reactivate enough of them that you can use Fiona's effect to then go search out whatever you want, which is really nice. And then Althea, again, she doesn't have as many, I mean, she's just a great card, right? Bounce stuff for protection, do whatever you want with it. Alright. 1 copy of Azana. He's our best bird boy. Goes up front, and he searches out a card or job named Chocobo, and in this deck there is only 1 of those. And the Chocobo of choice that we want to search out is the backup Chocolate. And that is from Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker, the movement La Chocolate. Chocolate is really good with Von. Von, again, as he's reactivating these backups, you can stack that with a Chocolate trigger, dull her, put an item counter on her, then she reactivates. You can do it with the no-no. Hey, they come in, Chocolate, dull for an item, no-no reactivates. Now you can dull again, and this will just help you draw extra cards. It's really nice. Then we have, dipping into our our Water Wind new colors, 3 copies of this Zidane. Really, really good card. Cannot be blocked. So its power level is only relevant if they're trying to blow it up with something, which again, but beyond that, it can't be blocked, which is nice because in a lot of these Sky Pirate games, like I said, yes, you have all these combat tricks, but their forwards aren't always you know, really big. So sometimes I've seen it where even though they've got 4 Sky Pirates out, they don't want to attack because then all their forwards are going to be dull. That means they don't have their Balthier tricks now. So it's really been nice to have a forward that can just say, well, regardless of what the field looks like, I'm just going to go in and deal them a point of damage. And then anytime he does that, you get to bounce a forward back to its owner's hand. If they've got a problematic forward, get it out of the way. He can clear the way for the rest. Or in your case, maybe you want to bounce Elza back so you can replay or draw a card. Maybe you want to bounce Vaughn back so you can do his entire trigger again. Or bounce your Raz back so you can now bounce another one of those. And then his steal effect is really nice. There's no way to color fix in this deck, so I can't guarantee you'll be able to cast the card you steal, but nonetheless, the fact that you're removing it from the game, period, I mean, honestly, the casting is just an insane bonus if you're able to do that, so really cool there. 2 copies of Typhon. Of course, Wynn gets another great monster. Typhon is just, he's even better removal than I first thought, and I thought he was great when I first saw him, but the fact that it doesn't trigger any break zone effects, and it also doesn't trigger any return to hand effects. So again, with the new Leviathan, if he sees a forward go back to hand, he gets to nuke something for 9,000. Well, Typhon doesn't put it in the hand, he puts it 5 cards into the deck. So it nullifies that effect. It's just kind of crazy the amount of stuff this gets around. There are also, as you can see, plenty of Wind backups in here in order to make him a monster as well if possible. And if you've never been on the end of an Althea Titan cycle, consider yourself lucky. As for summons, little light on him, but we're just running 3 copies of Kukulin the Impure. He's probably the most relevant one right now, just being able to blank problematic forwards. He's going to draw you a card on burst, which is really nice. Similar with this one, 3 copies of Leviathan, draws you a card on the burst, which is nice, and it's just protection. You want to protect the Vaughn, protect your forwards. Very, very good. And it's great too because at his damage 5 effect, it doesn't even cancel out the Vaughn trigger. So let's say they choose the Vaughn or a Sky Pirate. You get the Vaughn trigger, 2 backups back. You can let that resolve first, so you get your 2. So let's say you put up Tomaj, and now you can dull both of them to cast the Leviathan and say, okay, well now you can't even choose me. So really kind of fun interactions with Vaughn there. And finally, some random tech choices. 1 copy of new Windwater Aerith. Is similar to the Zidane. It fits the colors, so you can discard it for CP early if you need to. You can bounce a forward on entry, again, if you find that helpful depending on your situation, or you can make it so a forward just can't be chosen by abilities the next turn. Really nice. Don't feel like you have to hold on to this one to play it. I've pitched her plenty of times early just as a nice color fixer. 1 copy of Kadaj is our dark card. You could lean into Stern Leonis. I still think Kadaj is very good here. I like the EX burst. And in particular, I like the Brave a lot, because again, a lot of times these guys, if they swing out, then you're just going to get killed on the crackback, so being able to give a Vaughn or a Balthier Brave not only lets them attack and then maintains their ability to dull for Balthier's effect, and it's always just nice to have a little bit of break zone hate. And finally, 2 tech cards to help fill out our water CP in the backup line. 1 copy of Alchemist, you can use his effect to scry if you need to, and 1 copy of Kais. Second effect isn't relevant, but it can be kind of nice early to see what card you have coming next, or to see what your opponent has, potentially get rid of it. So yeah, so that is my Opus 14 version of more casual, fun Sky Pirates. This is a fun one to do at locals. Again, I'm going to put that list below that Alex Hancox made. If you want a much more competitive version of Sky Pirates, I would highly recommend you check his out. But if you're just doing fun, casual environment and you really want to lean into the 12 characters, I've had a really good time playing around with this one. So let me know what you think. Deck list will be in the description below. And until next time, we will see you in the skies.